Clayface, Celebrity Dirt Issue 2, Jude, Ellison, S. Doyle, and Fran Galen on the art. So, yeah, I mean, we were surprised. Well, but maybe that's not the right word, but we're pleasantly into the first issue of this. This second issue continues the whole thing where, there's a second Basil Carlo. Our main Basil Carlo believes he is fake Basil Carlo, so he wants to take him down and infiltrate him in Hollywood and see what's going on. But we also have these weird murders where it seems like people are being turned into clay and they're melting like clay. Although no one's going to be that upset about this first victim who's doing the ultra like douchebag podcast at the start, who's talking about how there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. It wasn't sad to see him go. I'll say that much.
He's a big mouth personality that ends up with a huge big mouth.
Literal
turns
big
into
mouth.
clay and droops down.
Yep. So the main focus of this issue, though, and the art here is quite good. I love Clayface. He's in like a hotel, or it's not even a hotel, it's an apartment building. But he's looking out the blinds, so you just get those lines of light going across his face, so it's super moody. But effectively, he's been pretending to be this old man who actually died of a heart attack recently, but he pretended to be him to get his apartment, so he's got a place to stay in LA. And he's befriended this neighbor who's helping him, this woman named Katie, who's been nice and helping him with his computer and stuff. And I think the whole thing with this issue is that it does a really good job of making her seem like a very likable, friendly character who helps Clayface, not knowing he's Clayface, but helping who she thinks is an old man. And he never means her any harm. He's never like planning anything malicious or anything. She's just kind of someone he can talk to. And he goes to the diner where she works later on and all that. So the reason why I'm bringing all this up, though, is that at the end of the issue, when it seems like the Clayface killer gets her, it actually feels quite bad. Like, you're in complete contrast with the first kill, where it's like, oh, this douchebag deserves it. Like, get him. But at the end of the issue, I'm like, oh, you made me care about this woman. And now it seems like she's been got. So it's almost like it's giving, even if this Clayface killer has nothing to do with the Basil Carlo, and he probably does, but let's just say he doesn't. Now our main Clayface has a reason to want to go hunt this killer down, regardless of any connections to the actor Basil Carlo.
Yeah. It does a really good job of, through their relationship, humanizing Basil, or the one that we're following, because it's this whole thing where, like, he still shows up as the old man at her diner, right? And he's talking with her, and they have a genuine friendship, it looks like, and we find out that she has a twin sister, and so we get into this whole thing of identity. Like, they're the same person until they're not, where she had surgery for breaking her femur because she was running hurdles for the track team, got hooked on pain pills, became a different person, and it all very kind of mirrors what Basil's going through. And so he finds like this sense of kinship with her.
Can I pose a theory here based on what her backstory is that I think it might be setting up? Is it possible that the other Basil is actually just part of the same Basil and he just separated a long time ago? So they're basically it's like they're twins because it's just part of the same. But obviously the clay just separated and he's just not aware that he's got two versions of himself running around.
Yeah, it could be. But the one thing that gets me there is it's very clear that one of them that looked like the actor was the killer at the end of that first issue, right?
It seemed that way in the first issue, yeah.
So if it is a Clayface killer, because the guy that comes, I'm looking at the page right now where she leaves Basil as the old man, and the guy with the weird clown paint, and like he's melting.
Well, it's not.
Starts coming talking to her.
It's not paint. It's like a mask he's wearing, and the clay's kind of pouring out of the mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see what you mean, though. It's got like red lips and like the blue around the eyes. I get what you're saying, but it's a mask.
Okay, but no, now that I look, because of how it's dripping beneath. I think that's the clay killer. I don't think that that's Basil. And so I think this is the guy that snatches her at the end.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I don't think that was...
I think this is set up for him coming to get her at the end because he's meeting her here. But it does seem like the actor's also like, because not only did the end of the last issue seem like he killed someone, and maybe the theory at the time when we talked about that issue was that he's sucking the life force so he can keep becoming becoming a human to act. But In this issue, we get like a scene at like a movie set, and like the crew member, the runner. So the whole plot here is that Basil actually, transforms into this person who works there. He makes an excuse for her to leave, because she finds out her mum's sick. But it sounds like Basil may have just made that up. But regardless, he becomes her so he can snoop around, and he talks to like the main crew member, whatever, the guy's in charge. And he's like, hey, you shouldn't be alone with Basil, like the actor, because people who have worked with him or have been left alone with him have some bad stories about him, especially the young women. So you should probably try and stay clear of him. So they're definitely setting up the idea that there's people maybe if not going missing, at the very least they're having scary, traumatic experiences with him. So
experiences with him.
Yeah, but it would be super dark though, right? If if it is just like another half of Basil who separated, this idea that one of them turned into a vicious killer who doesn't care how many people he kills, and the one we're following is more sympathetic, it would really introduce that idea of like how one became one and one became the complete opposite.
Well, and it's the nature versus nurture. It fills in with that twin narrative with her, with the waitress. But yeah, and also, what if that Basil is Clayface, right? That is a Clayface that has fought Batman, the one that gets up to schemes, but the one that was trapped in Arkham Tower, is a piece of him, but that's like, he's the human piece, right? He's that aspect that is sympathetic and whatever, and that's why he doesn't,
Well, I
know
think,
what I mean?
The big question though, if we're right about this idea that he's like, they're both Basil, but at some point he's split in two, and he's just not aware of that. Like, when did that split happen? There's nothing to say that a lot of the Batman fighting stuff didn't happen first, and like the split came sometime later. And maybe this is like, I'm getting into real sort of fan, like, headcanon stuff here. But what if this is going to help explain why, like, we had the good guy Clayface in Detective Comics and stuff like that, but it feels like there's still a villainous Clayface around as well. Like, what if this is going to somehow like try and explain all that? No, there's been two of them. Like, there's been two Basils because he split in half, and one became more villainous, and the other one kind of went down a path of redemption or whatever. Also,
yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at while stumbling through it. Yeah, but
also worth mentioning that right after that scene with the crew member, it's Clayface as the crew member. We do see a woman go into Basil's trailer, and she steps on clay that kind of, like, I don't know if it's entirely going to, it looks like her legs melting into the clay, so it looks like she is getting got here.
Well, and also there's that that drug that they keep saying is not the Renew. It's not the thing that turned Clayface into Clayface. It's this new one. I'm wondering if that has something to do with this as well. And if that's what the guy that is melting at the beginning was doing, like the drug is making people melt.
Maybe, yeah.
And maybe she's been using it, and then when Clayface touches her, he's able to absorb her or whatever. Because that's definitely the actor Carlo seemingly killing her through the clay. Right? Like,
actually,
she is melting.
I forgot there was a second page where she's actually just straight up, her face is melting off. So and there's that great panel where it looks like Clayface is forming behind her. Again, the villainous one who's the actor right now, presumably.
That's right.
Forming behind her. That's a real horror movie visual, that panel.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's that whole thing with the two is like, particularly young women. And then we see this woman that works for the studio, right? She seems like a mucky muck, the way that she's dressed, going in there. So, yeah. No,
very
creepy stuff.
It's creepy stuff. Obviously, the whole idea of young women being the victims of someone powerful in Hollywood definitely has a lot of undertones to it. Like, it's weird though, because like obviously, if he's just absorbing their life force, it wouldn't, I assume, matter who he's absorbing. Or maybe the whole idea is that it's women specifically that he's tricked into using this stuff that makes them suitable for his thing. But it definitely feels though, they could just tell us later the guy with the mask on that kidnaps the nice like neighbor lady. Maybe that is just Basil the actor who's like, going out for extra victims, but it does feel like a separate villain right now. It feels like someone else who's got some clay-like qualities because he's melting through the mask, but maybe he's not a Clayface full on.
All the way through, yeah. Well, so you're talking about like he's having the ladies use that stuff and it makes it easier for them to kill. That guy in the beginning is talking about toxic masculinity, and what actually is toxic is women not thinking that masculinity is attractive. What if this drug is meant for like women, but he was secretly using it? And so he's counter to everything, right? I just think that'd be a fun twist. I don't know. This guy's talking about what it means to be a man. He's secretly doing all these treatments.
Right? I mean, it's a good.
And that's why
it's a good point though, Matt, because that opening scene, there's no like Clayface reveal of like him popping up and like doing this to this guy. It just happens to him while he's talking, which does maybe lend credence to the idea that he's just put something on his face that's having this effect.
And because the next when we see that, after that, the first thing we see is the Losel Max ad that's outside of the apartment that Clayface is in, that Art Basel that we're following. So I feel like that's a tie, that's put together for a reason. So like, what if this guy is just caught in the crossfire, right? This is just a clue of it all, that he was using the stuff that's not stable, you know, and that's why his face starts melting.
The guy at the start, you mean? Yes,
the guy at the start.
Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like the guy who's got the mask on, who's melting, who kidnaps the neighbor, he feels like he's a bigger threat. He feels like he's not just, there to prove a point. So, because, I mean, that's what the Cliffhanger is. The Cliffhanger is her hand reaching because she's trying to get back in the diner. You just see like the clay arms come out and grab her face and pull her back, and the final panel is the hand being pulled away from the handle. It's a really, again, a really good cinematic, kind of well-paced last page. Because you can feel the hand reaching out and then being pulled back at the last second.
So close, yeah. It's like watching a horror movie where you're like, oh, you're so close. You were right there, right? Also, it's clear that the guy in the mask has been following her because he shows up as the old man. I forgot about that till right now. Right? So he leaves going in one direction. This one comes back in that direction. And that's why she looks startled. She's like, don't you want to talk to me anymore? And that's where she goes to run for the diner door.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it's necessarily he's been following her though, because they do kind of set up that he knows where she works in their first encounter. Because she kind of tries to awkwardly get out of the conversation by saying, "Hey, you come by the diner then sometime if you want to see me again." Yeah. So I think they set up that he knows where she works. Now that doesn't mean that he's not following her. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I think they did set it up that he would know where to go. But what I do appreciate though, he's not a perfect copy of the old man though. It's like he's not as good at shape-shifting as Clayface is because like the shirt's different, like he's got like a similar hat, but he's also got marks on his face. Yeah,
he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt almost.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, which I wonder if that even suggests that he's not Clayface the clothes. Like I wonder if he actually got clothes that are similar to wear rather than, because Clayface usually just makes the clothes as part of his whole gimmick, right? But what if this guy can't do that? He's got some clay, he can stretch his arms out and stuff, but what if he can't actually form the more complex things that Clayface can? Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here to think about, actually.
Yeah. Definitely, there's a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm loving it for that. Because it does. It's getting us talking. There's so many threads to pull at, right?
Yeah.
Like it is a really good kind of crime noir story almost.
And the setting's quite cool because we're in California. It feels a little bit different to most like bat related like characters or whatever. And I also honestly I think the most impressive thing about the book though, obviously you've got the cool horror moment, you've got the cool investigation stuff and the mystery and all that. But I think the fact that they made me care about this character when she's brand new, so that I'd care when she gets grabbed at the end, I think it's very impressive. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm super into this book now. Like, through 2 issues, they've really convinced me that this is something that I'm now actively really looking forward to read now next month. So, ones could be a fluke, but 2 issues in a row that are really good. Now you've got my attention. So,
well, and like you said, it's making us care about ancillary characters, right? Because she's not a main character. So, and we care about what's happening to her. So that's some real good stuff.
Yeah, compare this character to like, you know, the 5 characters that Supergirl's introduced to be part of her team. You know, and not that I read all of the issues that introduced those characters, but like I care more about this neighbor character than I do about any of those characters.
Yeah.
And that's just writing execution.
Well, right. That's development, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know now that this character, like, she broke her leg running track, got hooked on pills, didn't like who she became, and lost her family. Right? Like, just through that's like 3 panels. And it was executed quickly, and it fills out the story too, because it kind of mimics what happened to Clayface, right? With him getting hooked on that drug to keep himself looking young, and he literally became someone else.
Yeah, it feels thematically relevant to the main character and what we're doing in the story. But you know, I mean, that's only a few panels of some exposition, effectively, because But the thing is that, you know, it's like, no, she's nice to him beforehand, and he seems to be nice to her. And it feels like, yeah, this is like a friend that he's kind of made. That, and like any sort of like, you know, not that I think this is a romance in any way, because obviously I don't think he'd be keeping the old man get up if he was actually like interested in her in that way. I just mean that, but so I'm prefacing this to just say that when I say it's like a Beauty and the Beast type thing, this idea of like, oh, will she still care about him if she finds out what he is? Like, what he really is?
Yeah.
Like, that's a question. Now, if she's just dead after this, then we'll never get to that question. But I'll at least care about him, about Clayface getting the answers and, like, getting justice for her. And if she's not dead, if she's alive, it's like, well, okay, well, he's to save her then. And I'm going to care about that. So, you know?
Yeah. So I think he's still really close, right? Because looking back at the panels, he's not that far from the diner when the other guy shows up in the background.
Oh, so you think
so like, maybe he makes the save now?
Oh, so at the start of next issue, he swoops in and fights this guy off. Maybe it's very possible because he's not that far away.
Right.
Because they intentionally show his shoulder in the panel walking away right before the other one comes up and talks to her. So it's possible he'll hear, you know, a scream or something, and you know, lo and behold, we get kind of the face-off thing, and they're Clayfaces, so they can literally face off if they want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. This is very good. I honestly, in a week with some heavy hitters, this stood out and like stood next to them quite happily.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
All right, what are you giving Clayface Celebrity Dirt?
8.5.
Yeah, I think it's at least that. I might even go to the 9. This was really good.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9.
Okay.
What a surprise.